The fog has lifted and the Sinking City 2 is finally here. Players everywhere are diving headfirst into this madness, asking the big question: has Frogwares crafted the survival horror strong enough to stand alongside titans like Resident Evil and Dead Space? Or does it carve out its own identity in the genre? Let's find out. From the opening moments, you're thrown into the unsettling world of H.P. Lovecraft. You play as Calvin Rafferty, a former Miskatonic University scholar turned occult adventurer. Alongside his wife Faye, Calvin attempts a forbidden ritual. It goes horribly wrong, leaving Faye trapped in a dream realm and Calvin desperate to save her. This setup immediately establishes a personal, emotional drive while also plunging you into the cosmic dread that defines Lovecraft's mythos. The campaign itself spans roughly 12 to 13 hours, with the Holloway Manor DLC adding another 2 to 3 hours. That expansion isn't just padding, it's a standout mission that feels like a love letter to fans of the original Sinking City. It's atmospheric, well-paced, and offers a satisfying side story that enriches the main narrative. Now let's talk atmosphere, because this is where the Sinking City 2 truly excels. Arkham feels oppressive, alive, and meticulously crafted. Every district drips with dread, from flooded streets to decaying interiors. The lighting is masterful, shadows twist your perception, and the architecture feels like a city on the brink of collapse. One standout example is the hospital mission, sprawling, eerie, and dripping with details. Even though exploration is more limited than Oakmont in the first game, the handcrafted design makes each location feel believable, lived in, and deeply unsettling. Combat builds on familiar survival horror mechanics but adds to its own flavor. Borrowing cues from Resident Evil and Dead Space, enemies have weak points that demand precision. Shooting feels heavy, dismemberment adds tactical depth, and every encounter keeps you on the edge. You're constantly weighing your ammo, deciding whether to risk a shot at a weak point or conserve resources for the next fight. This tension is exactly what survival horror thrives on. Puzzles lean into classic traditions of the genre, like locked doors, safes, backtracking, and notes left behind by doomed souls. These touches keep exploration engaging, even though the game is more linear than its predecessor. Despite the narrower scope, investigative elements remain just enough to make this feel like a spiritual successor rather than a complete departure. Narratively, the Sinking City 2 delivers more than expected. Calvin and Faye's dynamic adds to emotional weight, and Lovecraft fans will appreciate the Easter eggs scattered throughout. The writing doesn't always hit the mark, some dialogues may feel more modern in tone, occasionally breaking immersion, but overall, the story succeeds in pulling you deeper into Arkham's nightmare. Each level is distinct and handcrafted, a major improvement over the open-world design of the first game. Oakmont sometimes felt empty or repetitive, but here every environment feels purposeful. The trade-off is clear: less freedom, but far more detail and atmosphere. And honestly, for survival horror, that's a fair exchange. Technically, the game isn't flawless. Resource balancing can feel uneven, sometimes you're drowning in ammo, and other times you're scraping by with nothing. Enemy AI can be unpredictable, occasionally breaking immersion with erratic movement, and yes, there are a few bugs and optimization hiccups, but none of these issues are deal breakers, they're more like rough edges on an otherwise polished experience. Replayability is boosted by the inclusion of a new Game Plus mode, which lets you carry over progress and face tougher challenges. It's a welcome addition that extends the game's lifespan beyond a single playthrough. Now, about the pros and cons. For the pros, there is a brand new story and a fresh city to explore. Strong sequel that works even with new gameplay mechanics, challenging scenarios that keep players engaged, and a new Game Plus mode that adds replay value. About the cons, there is a poor balance between resources and enemy difficulty, occasional bugs and weak optimization, and also enemy movement sometimes feels overly random. Conclusion. So, is the Sinking City 2 worth your money? If you ask me, absolutely. With its oppressive atmosphere, satisfying combat, and handcrafted design, it's a survival horror experience that entertains from start to finish. It sacrifices the open-world ambition of its predecessor, but what you gain is a tighter, more focused descent into madness. In my book, The Sinking City 2 earns a respectable 8 out of 10, which indicates a strong release that shows Frogwares can hold their own in the survival horror genre even if it doesn't quite reach the heights of the genre's biggest names. So, what's your take on The Sinking City 2? Share your thoughts down in the comments, I'd love to hear how it landed for you.